tonight I have a special guest on me here again. Hopefully it will work. I haven't been able to make sure 100%, but once people start getting on here, we will test it. So tonight I have Raymond on here with me, and I put the question: did Raymond make 100,000 in 2019? 19. It's like I'm a 1900s or something. So that's like 20 some years ago now. But I'm going to talk to Raymond tonight, and we're going to talk about the struggles and the things that things that have went well for him in 2020 or 2019, and the things that he's planning on doing in 2020. And so tonight we're going to talk about successes and failures. And so that is something that we're going to do here. So once Ray starts talking here, if I could get somebody to let me know that I have volume, that you all are hearing him, that way I will know that for sure. So right now we got about 20 some people already on here. If you want to go check out Ray's page and subscribe to his channel, I would appreciate if you would do that. You can go check it out down in the description down there. So with that being said, Raymond, tell me who you are and where you're from.
So my name's Ray Notario, and I live in a place called Belmont, North Carolina. I'm a 12-year journeyman lineman, been building power lines for 14 years total. And it was, I think, November of 2018, I just decided that I wasn't going to go back and wanted to change. And I decided to get into the whole power washing thing because when I was 17 years old, me and my best friend at the time moved to Augusta, Georgia, and started a little pressure washing business up, working for a real estate company. And I remember we did really well, but he ended up going to the Air Force, and I ended up joining the apprenticeship to become a lineman, and never really thought about it a whole lot. And then just decided that, I needed a change. It kind of come very abruptly. And then I got into doing pressure washing, just haven't looked back, really felt a strong passion to keep on going with it.
So 2019 was your first year, is that correct?
Yes.
So
March 25th, I think, was my first paying job.
March 25th. So March 25th was a big day for you then.
Oh, yeah.
So tell me, so you called me about around that time, I believe. So how did you learn how to do pressure washing?
So
did you just go into Facebook groups and all these people just spoon feed you and, you just get everything? You just ask a bunch of questions, or did you go and dig and start hunting and watching videos?
Well, I did. I started watching tons of videos, started binge watching a lot of your videos, a lot of Ben Hill's videos, Rob Anderson's videos, and a bunch of other people's stuff. And then once I got completely loaded up on information, I decided to go ahead and just jump in. I actually knew a guy that had a pressure washing business a couple counties over from me, and he ended up selling me an old machine that he had. The pump didn't work on it, and I bought a brand new pump. Was taking it actually to the power wash store in Midland, North Carolina, a guy named Aaron Ritchie, and I was going to have them show me how to put the new pump on and everything. And then he showed me another 4 gallon a minute machine there. He's like, this is really what you should get, and it was a belt driven machine. So I just said, you know what? I didn't have a lot of money, and I said, the hell with it. Went ahead and bought that 4 gallon a minute machine, threw it in the back of the truck, and went home, plugged all that stuff up, plugged up the downstream injector, got a couple 100 feet of high pressure hose, 100 foot of garden hose, and a 5 gallon bucket, and started knocking on doors.
So you did some boots on the ground to get some marketing going, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So what was 1 or 2 struggles that you had last year, and how did you overcome those?
I think one of the biggest struggles for me was figuring out all the different chemicals and the different type of setup to use for the truck, because you hear so much different stuff and a lot of conflicting information, even from I'll say, I'm not going to throw out names, but different, stores that sell equipment and are very knowledgeable in the field. I've heard very conflicting things about the way things should be set up or ran or operated. And that was a struggle because, naturally I didn't want to invest money into a certain system and then it not work out or cause me to fail. And so I kind of got that old analysis paralysis where I was just like binge watching YouTube videos and reading comments. I was even going back on the forum boards and trying to find old, skeletons in the closet on some information. And that was a really big struggle for me. Figuring out the concrete cleaning, the different tips for the surface cleaner and how to, get the lines out. That was a little bit of a struggle starting out, figuring out how to get that concrete really nice and clean, because I knew from the start pricing was never really an issue for me because I knew I wanted to be the higher tier person, the more expensive guy, the high quality guy, and charge the higher rate. But, I was having a hard time making sure that I was producing those high quality results. So that was a little bit of a challenge.
Well, that sounds like you've overcome that quite a bit of doing that. So, so tell me something that you learned that you would have never thought about. I mean, whether it's in the chemicals or in business side of things, of what was something that you really had to learn to overcome a fear or something along those lines?
Something that I learned that I didn't know was that, there's a lot of power and a lot of reward in just, dropping that shoulder, lowering your head, and just bulldozing your way through. Once you got the idea, just go with it. If you think you can do it, then just go for it. And that was something that, I always kind of had to have someone else tell me that they thought it was a good idea or that I should do it. And then I just kind of reached a point where, I see so many guys get stuck on this part where they just they know they got the idea in their mind. They've got it all kind of figured out. They got all the information, but they still like have to have someone tell them, hey, it'll work. You should do it.
Get that spoon fed going. That's one thing I was talking to Raymond before I actually went live is, a lot of people, when Ray called me, he was like, dude, I'm going all in. I'm going balls to the wall. And I'm putting all cards on the table. If I fail, I fail. And he went for it, and I told him, I was like, dude, you can do it by far. You can do it. I know as long as a lot of people around here will sit there and want to do it, but they won't ever go for it and they won't do it. You don't have that drive. And if you don't have that drive, it don't matter what you do, you will not succeed. If you don't have that feeling of, if I don't do this and get out there, and as somebody put it a couple weeks ago, get off that couch and get working, you're going to go hungry. That's just the fact. When you own your own business, it's not easy by any means. You get all these things coming into you that you never had come into you. Like I got to have business insurance, and I got this customer that is driving me nuts, and they don't go away until you do something, because you can't send it up the chain, because you know who the top of the chain is? You are the top of the chain. So guess what? You get to deal with all the crap. Yes, it's great. And yes, it's one of those things that, yes, it is something that, it is something that is hard and that kind of stuff. So, that is far. So there is some questions coming in. And if you all have some more questions, ask by far. I'll get them up here in front of Ray and we'll keep going through there. One of them was, let me see. It was actually a pretty good one here. It was by Jay Russell. Jay Russell wrote, let me pull this up here. Oh, shoot, it's in blue. I guess you can see it. Jay Russell put, Raymond, what marketing works best for you?
It's really a tough question because everything that I've done has worked to an extent. But I mean, if you're talking about, so the CRM that I use, which is the customer factor, you can put in the little box, when someone calls you and they want an estimate or they want you to schedule a job for them, you can put down how they heard about you, and it'll give you the percentages of how, where the leads came from, whether it's Nextdoor or Facebook or Google or whatever. And if I had to just go based off what do I hear the most, I would say that it's Google. You know, Google is the number one way to market your business, whether you're going to run in Google Ads, or my personal opinion is that organic ranking, getting in that map pack, and not just for pressure washing, getting in that map pack for all the keywords that pertain to the, you know, pressure washing, soft washing industry.
And I mean, he did have me run his ads, so I don't know if that was any good or not, but
Yeah.
hey, I do know you got work. Now, if you run them again this year, I will actually I'm going to run landing pages that actually convert. I've started doing it. I'm going to even do it for my old customers from last year. So with that being said, I'll put a link down here if you want to check it out. All right, Jason Guyman. Always see. I got to put this one up, man. I'm gonna have to get that bigger so you can see that. But for right now, that's Jason Guyman. Always, I like your videos. Thank you. Let me see here. What marketing did you start off with? So what he kind of did boots on the ground, but tell me some more. What else? Or you know, you can answer that question. What marketing did you start off with?
So I started out with what a lot of guys start out with, Vistaprint business cards, you know, some door hangers, some postcards, the yard signs. Yard signs are huge. I mean, that would be one of my top three marketing materials. You know, those actually last night, it's an every Sunday thing, me and my helper, we were out until midnight putting yard signs out. We put 20 of them out. And, you know, that's one of those things that a lot of guys don't see, that if you want to be successful and drive leads consistently to where you can stay busy, you know, there's going to be a lot of nights where you're out till midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning doing stuff like that. You know, like I just now got done transferring bleach because, you know, the bleach tank was empty. So I had to go out there at 9 or 8:30 at night, and I'm out there transferring, you know, another drum of bleach in there, getting everything ready and all the pump up sprayers filled up for tomorrow. So there's a lot of long hours involved in this. I think for guys that are thinking about making that leap from whatever their full-time job is to owning a pressure washing business or a service business, you know, you got to be prepared to really be in the mentality that you're going to be a 24-hour work machine. Like you really never get to stop working.
Now, I'll agree and disagree on that. Because I'll tell you what, if you're a good leader and you know how to do business, you don't always have to work 24 hours. Now, I'm not going to say that you're not going to do marketing and that kind of stuff when you're getting home, but you know, some of these guys I see out on every job because they can't let their employees do it is another whole business. You know, some of these guys are out there on Saturday and Sunday and 3 o'clock in the morning. I think that's BS. If you don't trust your guys that much, then maybe you shouldn't be out there in the first place, you know. But, you know, I never worked a Saturday or Sunday as pressure washing. Now, did I do marketing and that kind of stuff, putting out signs? Absolutely. And I agree with you on there. You know, that is time. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret that I always found out. Put your signs out on Friday because a lot of times they're going to get pulled on Monday. So if you put them out on Friday, they'll at least lay till Monday. So that's a little secret for you to, especially if you got a place where people pull signs. If you don't have to worry about people pulling signs, then that's fine. But I always found that Friday was a good day to put them out, Friday evening. And by that time, they didn't do nothing.
Nice.
So Deshaun wants to know what's going on the whiteboard behind you. I'm assuming that's planning right there.
Oh yeah. So I went on Amazon, and that's a really good tip. Good question. On Amazon, you can get like the biggest whiteboard that they make for like $50 or so, and it's been an invaluable investment for me because I just put what's important, like marketing calendars, different types of advertising, follow-ups with people, say like commercial prospects, people that maybe businesses that I went and did just a cold walk-in and asked the receptionist if she knew who managed the property and kind of got a lead, or you get someone's number. I'll put it on there and then, you know, write the number and then write the date beside it when I talk to them and what the context of the conversation was, and then write a date that I need to follow up. And then I'll just check the whiteboard and basically look on everything for, you know, just updates on what's going on.
Invasion HD is saying Raymond's videos are amazing too. They are. Go check him out. He's actually been doing quite a bit of stuff for that. You can check it out. Let's see. When I was in the so Ray, tell me what your plan is for 2020. Tell me what your goal is. Tell me what you're shooting for in 2020.
So really, I've got a bunch of goals wrote down and things that I want to accomplish. And, but more so, I'm just trying to be fulfilled and enjoy life. What led me into pressure washing was some kind of unforeseen circumstances and some life changes that I really didn't plan on. And, I think that is the case for a lot of guys, not everybody. I think with the industry, why I fell in love with it is because a lot of it's the people that are in it. And I just really get along with a lot of the guys that are in this industry. And I think it's because either A, you do this as a side hustle for supplemental income from a job that's too good to walk away from, or B, you got hit with a curveball in your life, and this was like a last gasp effort to try to just rebound and bring everything back home. So I don't know, man. My goals are to do record numbers as an owner operator, to produce massive amounts of leads, and to be able to close at least 50%. Right now, I'm bouncing in between 40 and 50% on my close rate. I hear guys all the time saying that they're closing 70, 80%, and I just call complete bullshit on that, unless they're the $99 guy or maybe, the $150 guy. I don't know, but that's my opinion, not saying it's a fact. But when people tell me that, I am calling bull.
I say that's a fact.
Okay.
I guarantee you that person that's closing 70, 80% is definitely not getting a high dollar ticket. They're probably in that $200 to $300 average ticket. They're not in that $400 to $600 average ticket. When I finally sold my business, we were at like $490 was our average ticket. So, to get an average ticket, yes, we're getting some high dollar tickets, but that means we're not getting too many low dollar tickets. So, you are going to get more. You are going to get more no's, and if you're around that 50%, like I said, we never got over 50%. That's us using Responsibid. That was us calling people back. That was, hammering that follow-up thing. And that's what I was telling you earlier. If you're paying for leads and getting that door open of, coming in there, you have to follow up with these people. If you don't follow up, you are just wasting everything at that point. You are, and not just follow up the next day, follow up next week, the week after that, the month after that, the year. Our follow-up sequences went for 3 years long. 3 years. And you know how many times we'd get callbacks? And because guess what? What is 3 years usually? That's when they need the service again. So we're going to hit them another email, and that is the thing that you want to do. And, not only just the follow up with email, but, this is a great time of year when you got customers that, you can hit that phone because you're not real busy right now usually. Get on that phone, and if you're not busy, sit there and call all your past customers. And you don't have to be real salesy. Hey, Miss Jones, I was just checking in with you. I did some pressure washing with you last year. I just seen if you got any services you might need done. These are some services we can do for you. And, and that can go a long ways, and as long as you don't leave a bad taste in their mouth, they're going to call you. Or you can say, hey, if you got a neighbor, please refer them to me. I would appreciate that, and that goes a long way.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's funny if you really wow a customer to the point and kind of make it a personal experience. And this is what I found is if you can kind of get them into the whole, I don't know. I just feel like I've got a certain group of customers that they really want to help me succeed. If that makes any sense, like they really, really want to, like I can see the genuine want in them. And, a lot of that has to do with, doing thank you cards. I'll take these little pink envelopes and put a handwritten thank you card, a nice little thank you like that, and then handwrite it, put it in there. And this is only for, when you get that $500, $600, $700 ticket, and you want to keep that. You want that the next year and the year after.
You got that right. And you know how far that goes? You would not believe how far that goes. Because first off, who writes letters? What do you get in the mailbox
Nobody.
now? Bills and garbage. You get a letter of a thank you note, that goes so far. You wouldn't even believe how far that could go.
Yeah.
That
and,
right
and
there.
I even put these in there.
What is it?
I'll put this. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yep,
but
there you go.
It says token of appreciation on there.
That's awesome. And how much that cost you?
They'll feel it in there and they'll say, man, I'm going to open that and see what that is so my letter don't get thrown away.
And how much did that cost you?
Man, it was like I got 200 of those for like $10 or something like that.
So nothing. So you got less than $1 in that could get you other customers that can take you a long way, and that's how Ray made $100,000 his first year, by doing stuff like that. Because in that thank you note, you can also ask again. This is a great time to ask for reviews. You can emails to ask for reviews. And these customers, if you do that right there and you ask for a review, if they don't give you a review, that I would be shocked at that point. But and not just asking for it, but you're just thanking them for everything that you've done for you, and that is huge because nobody else does it, And yes, there is services out there you can pay it, but for it to be a legit handwritten note, that right there will take you above everybody else. That will blow all competition away. Because you know what will come out of your competition at that point? When you're getting on your 5-star reviews, it's going to say, hey, he sent me a handwritten note and it said this, this, and this, and he's such a great guy and he's so good looking, and you'll get all kinds of crazy reviews when you get that, because you know who is your customer. Your customer is a female, probably. It's about 70% chance that it's a female. And that right there will take that to the next step of you wouldn't even believe it of that. All right, I'm off my soapbox now. Let me see. Hello, Mr. Jason. Your channel is amazing and full of knowledge and information. Keep it coming. I'm trying. My goal is enough money to quit my full-time job. What would you have for somebody that their goal is to quit their full-time job?
My advice is to just quit. I'll tell you like this. I am nobody special, and I'll go ahead and throw this out there. I have an 8th grade education. That's a long story, but anyway, you can quit your job today and you could survive. I mean, I don't know your personal situation and what your bills. I understand everybody's different, but you could turn over enough revenue to, as long as you're within, say, $100,000 a year budget, or you're not going to bring that much home, but you can do it, is what I'm trying to get at. You just have to burn that ship. That's something that gets thrown out there a lot, but you eliminate that plan B, because that's what's holding you back. You're not giving 100%. If you don't want that full-time job, if it's like a ball and chain and it's holding you back and it's making you just feel unhappy, hey, just go for it and do it. You will succeed 100%, but you have to give it everything. Otherwise, they're both going to kind of suffer.
You're not going to be good at anything. Let's see. $1,000 a day, 5 days a week would be great. That's probably, you shoot probably for more than that now, don't you?
Like tomorrow, we got a nice day tomorrow. We've actually had this, last month was good. This month is looking really, really good. Tomorrow's looking really good. So yeah, I'm not really making any predictions, but I feel like this is going to be a very, very good year. There's a lot of good things happening.
I think that too, and here's the reason why I think that for more than anything. We've had a warm winter up here, which that means you've even had it warmer down there. So I think that the mold is really going to grow good this year. It never got frozen out up here at all. it never hit that big freeze to freeze it out. And so I think that, we've had a couple cold nights down into the teens, but to really kill that mold, you need it to be, week long of zero to get it really frozen. And we haven't had that. So I think this year's going to be good. The grass is already starting to turn green. And when the grass starts turning green, that means it's going to start growing. And what I always say is you always going to, when you start to know when that phone is going to ring is whenever they get out there and start mowing that grass. When they start mowing grass, then they're looking at their houses and saying, look how nasty green this thing is, and I need it clean. So that is one reason why I think this will be a great year. So Benjamin Baker asked, hello, gentlemen. Ray, I saw your video a while back about the estimate you did on that large medical arch building. I was wondering what you ended up with and if you got it signed and scheduled.
Yeah, so I'm waiting on approval for that. The guy that I was talking to, the property manager, said that I will know whether or not it was approved or declined in March. So I got a couple of weeks before I'll find out. And if you're asking about what the estimate was on that, it was right around 17 grand for the two buildings.
That's a good way to get to 250,000.
Yeah, for sure.
How much would you charge for a roof cleaning on a 4,300 square foot house? That's kind of dependent on that. There's a lot of dependence on that. Let's see. For someone who doesn't have money to start advertising but has the basic equipment, what is a good way to start with getting your name out there? My suggestion is signs. You can get $300 worth of signs. That's one job, and go plaster signs. If you can't do signs, then you really need to hit Facebook, Instagram. You need to hit Nextdoor, all the free avenues you can, and you got to hit them hard. And you can't just sit there and spam them. You need to go in them, and you need to go and you really need to go and get in those Facebook groups. First I'll probably get out of the pressure washing groups and get into the neighborhood groups and all the mama groups and all that in the neighborhood groups and all those groups. And then start giving information, giving value, don't just sit there and say, hey, I'm a pressure washer, because that ain't going to get you nowhere. If you go in there and say, when somebody says, hey, who's a plumber? And you say, Bob Joe's a plumber, and he's a great plumber. And then you say the next thing, and then the next thing. And then after about the 5th or 10th post, you say, hey, I'm a pressure washer. Then that's how you do that. You go give stuff away. Go clean that PT. Let the PTA know you're going to do it, so that way you do it. And go get that PTA all and clean their slides and that kind of thing. There's things you can do to really get it going. I know several people that hasn't started out with a big budget, and that's how you got it going. Ray, when you started out, you didn't have a big budget. And what I tell you, I told you signs. I even told you signs, and you were like, man, I live right here. Is this a great place? I'm like, hell yeah, that's a great place. It's a big road. Put a big sign. And Ray's like, how big of a sign do I need? I'm talking little sign. He's like, how big of a sign can I go? 4 foot? I'm like, if you want to, go for it.
Hey, I wish it was daylight. I'd take my phone out and show you this thing. I just now built a frame for a 10-foot wide by 4-foot tall sign. And it's going right here about a half a mile up the road from me at a convenience store that everybody, there's tons of $1 million. Lake Wiley is where it's at, but it's all lake houses and stuff. And they have to pass by the store. I'm kind of worried that that I'm going to get in trouble. I don't know, but I'm still going to put it up because I washed their roof for free, and they said I could put the sign out there.
So listen, he did work so he could put a big sign at their place, and he's taking a risk. You taking a risk if it might not be allowed, So, you got to take risks sometimes.
Yeah. Early on, especially. Once you get established and you're making good money, and you then be legit and be a good boy. But at the beginning, my advice is break the rules because you may not survive if you don't.
That's right. Hey, you're not out there asking for handouts anyway. So somebody's not liking your sign somewhere. WRS Mobile Detail and say Ray is killing. I see his bandit signs all over.
I actually just got in trouble. The code enforcement up the road in Charlotte got on to me and threatened to give me $100 fine per sign. And I told him, I said, well, how much is it going to be for me and my son to be out in raggedy clothes sitting across with a "Will Work for Food" sign? I said, are you going to charge me anything for that? And it was crickets. He didn't have shit to say after that.
I love it. Hey, look at the rent collector. He's actually here in Cincinnati. My average ticket runs between 1,200 and 1,700. That's good because you know what? I love it. So,
That's a lot.
heck yeah, but that's, it's all about getting it there. Most people
He must be like commercial only.
most people I speak to, pressure washing is just sidewalks and driveways. What are your best upsells that profit the most? House washing is where I want to be at. But what I would say, what ours was really to help our tickets to go is we added window cleaning, so that would add $150 to it, $150 to $200, and then we'd add driveway. And you want to package this stuff together. You always got to give at least 3 packages: package A, package B, package C. 9 times out of 10, they're going to pack. 50% of the time they're going to do package B every time. You got some people that they're going to do package C. It don't matter how much it costs. They're going to do the best of the best because that's what I am and that's what I deserve, is the best of the best. And that's fine. That's how we get our $500 average ticket up, is by giving that to the best of the best. So, and it's all about, if somebody calls for a roof cleaning, then we can give them a house wash and a window cleaning. We can give them the whole 9 yards. So let's see here. I got some questions. Let's see. I do, but they're all. Ray, do you have a helper? Are you an employee? Beth asks,
Yes.
do you have a helper, and are they an employee?
Yes, I do. I have an employee now that is actually quitting his job tomorrow, and he's going to be working for me full time. Before it was just part time, and it feels great to have somebody there with you to help you. Leadership is a little bit of a struggle for me, and I think a lot of guys probably struggle with leadership, especially when you hear people saying that, talking all kinds of bad stuff about their employees and kind of down on them and saying that they're all stupid. You could really get a lot of production out of paying a guy $10, $12 an hour, but it's just like the customer. You got to produce a good environment for them to be able to get that ticket high or to get that production high from the employee. But luckily, I went through one guy. He was snorting something. We were doing a set of apartments, and he went to the bathroom like 6 times. And he comes back and he's got this stuff running down his nose. I had to fire him on the spot. I said, you got to get the hell out of here. And then there was another guy. He ended up being on the run for murder. And, so it's a struggle, man. Like, our heart goes out to anybody that's looking for somebody. Luckily, I found somebody that's doing really well, and it's working out great. But yeah, so to answer your question, I do have an employee.
WRS Mobile Detailing said, Ray, I'll take your crumbs.
I don't.
Building, North Carolina, got the approval on a clubhouse and a pool in a gated community. What's the best way to get the word out to all the homeowners in there? I'm going to tell you, to whoever you got the approval from probably has an email list, and that's who you need to. And if not, if they probably got a Facebook group, I would tell them that, boost that out in that Facebook group. If it's a high dollar area, which it's a gated community, it's probably got next door, and you can do it that way too to try to get it out there. But if it's in a gated community, I would assume they have an email list that they can hit that email pretty fast. Give us some examples of what to include in packages. Again, now Ray, do you use packages, or are you just trying to do one-offs mostly?
Yeah, I'm really big on packages. And, you can build them up however you want. Think about the things that, when you look at a person's property, try to put as many things in there that you see on each and every property you go to. Like at first I was building my packages where I would say, like, I'll include the front steps and the rear steps when you go from the basic to a say a deluxe house package, or you might add in that the gutter brightening with another package. And but not every house has front steps, and then I'm trying to do all this on the fly. So I would say when you start building these packages out, you know front porches, back porches, steps, gutter brightening. The list goes on. You could add window cleaning. If you say you have a water fed pole, you could say, the premium comes with exterior window cleaning. And then they hear that. And then you put down beside it, normally a $200 value, but you get it with the premium package for $100. And, you're really raising the price of the house wash. So you could do it however you want. But I mean, that's kind of how I do it.
Gotcha. So, how to bid on a cleaning on a post office. So on commercial, we always try to bid it by the hour. Everybody can bid it by different, we always shoot for $300 an hour is what we were shooting for. So, everybody can, you can do it by the square footage, but a lot of times you're going to be so high, people are going to laugh you off the property, and that's fine if you're good with that. But we did a lot of commercial in my day, There was we did one apartment, a complex property manager that they owned all these property managers. And we did over $125,000 with one company, and how we did that is bidding stuff by the hour, not bidding it by, well, it's 10 cents a square foot times all this other stuff. So we tried to figure out how long it would take, and then we would go from there. Solid employees are far and few between for sure. Yes, they are, George. The best ones I ever had was some ones that were they were the ones you rent. Shoot, not the rent. Whatever, you said it earlier. I can't think what it's called, but we got them, and we had 4 of them, and they showed up, and they're looking in the window, going, "Man, look at that TV in there! How cool is that?" And we're like, "You're gone."
You talking about like the staffing agencies?
Staffing agency, yeah. So this Weatherspoon said 25% is the salaries for a helper. That's kind of a lot. I mean, unless you got small tickets, that's kind of a lot for just a helper. Benjamin was the reason why I was asking about the medical arts building is we just bid our 4th hospital job. This one in particular was past $60K, and was curious how you ended up. Medical buildings are great. Hey, that's awesome. So see, he's saying there's good luck for you right there. Go bid some more of them.
I'm liking what I'm hearing. Awesome, dude. Great job.
Forever self-employed, great video advice. Hustle hard and get that money. That's right. I sent a house wash quote, $275 for 1,500 square feet and $400 on the roof. Added other stuff after it. Ready to list on the market, hoping to hear. You got to start somewhere, And that's what I was actually looking at a list. Today. I didn't even know I had it still, of some of my very first house washes. And I did a house wash for $65. I did a house wash for $100 because I was doing Living Social and Groupon, and I was doing everything I could, and I was losing my tail and didn't even know it. So, yeah. Steve says, I respect Ray's content and social media hustle because he can get it. That's why I got him on here.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Steve.
So we got 80 people in here watching. Yeah, I bet you don't get that many on Facebook, do you, Ray? Hey, talking about Ray,
no.
If you haven't liked his, if you haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel, go down in my description and I got his link there. It's already in there, and go and subscribe to him. Last time we tried to get on here, I had some mishap failures going on, and I couldn't get it. But Ray said he got like 10 subscribers, and he was happy. So if I can get him up to like 25, 30 subscribers from this live, he will be tickled pink. So,
oh yeah.
Ray, does
Hey,
the
real
Apple
quick, I
Wash
wondered,
stains? Do you use Apple Wash?
you know, I have been. I've been through I think 3 jugs of it, and to be completely honest about Apple Wash, like the only reason I purchased it was for content purposes because I'm big on getting video and putting that stuff and running Facebook ads behind it. So, but I'm no longer. I don't think I'm going to buy it no more because it's so expensive. I mean, it's like $150 for 5 gallons.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Do you use a proportioner, or how did you apply? Or you just downstream, right?
No, well, I downstream. I do a little bit of everything, but right now I've got a booster, a 12 volt, and the downstreamer. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what I like the best. But I use the little blend manifold to do it yourself, like the one you sell or got the video on, and like Cody makes.
Gotcha. So you were doing it through 12 volt through that way.
Yeah, through the little blend.
So what
manifold.
are you going to use next then?
Well, I just ordered a 5-gallon jug of some slow mo from Rex over at Pressure Washing Products, and I figured I'd try that out, see how I like it, and I might buy a 55-gallon drum because I'm in the process of moving over to the booster pump setup, and I got a new system that was built by my buddy, and I'm going to take my old blend manifold system and put it in my shop, and then I'm going to run 3 drop sticks, one to a big tank of water, one to my bleach tank, and then one to like a 55-gallon drum of surfactant. That way I can literally pull up, flip the switch on the 12 volt, and then turn the blend manifold and then fill up my tanks on the rig with just, without having to waste a lot of time.
Chris Rogers, I take all the advice from everyone, and both have provided valuable information. Mike Conrad asked, Ray, you kind of answered it a little bit, but Ray, how have you liked Sean's booster pump, or have you got it? You haven't put it together yet.
I haven't put it in yet. I'm still using the 12 volt because it's still kind of new. I just changed the pump recently, so I want to just kind of wear it out a little bit.
Gotcha. So with that, I mean, if you got any more questions, the questions kind of stopped here. But what is one thing you would tell a new guy starting in? I know you talked a little bit about it there earlier about just go for it. So what is one thing that you would tell a new guy to do to get started pressure washing?
I would give him one word. I would say exposure. Exposure. Make sure that you are being seen. If you can afford to, get your truck lettered up. That way people can see that, you offer pressure washing and your phone number. When you get a job, take your time on it. When you're on your first job, spend all day on that job. That way your truck's parked out there. All the neighbors are going to be driving by seeing your truck, and wait for people to come up asking you for a business card. I'll go ahead and give you guys one of my really big secrets. It's find the most expensive grocery store that is close to your house. And if you got a wrapped truck or a lettered truck, go park that thing at the grocery store and leave it, and have your wife or your girlfriend or whoever come and pick you up and leave your letter. If you're not busy, if you don't have a lot of work, but don't let the truck sit in your driveway. Go park it at that really nice, expensive grocery store. Every time I've done that, it has turned into money. I've gotten a job off of it. But the exposure is the biggest thing, making sure that you're being seen, that, you're taking your time on the jobs, you're doing those 5 rounds. I don't do just 5 rounds where I pass, a marketing material out. I go and I knock on the door. Hey, I just want to let you know we're over here at Bob and Susie's house taking care of a house wash and a roof cleaning for them. If you need anything, feel free to reach out to us. Hand them the card. Don't sit there and take a lot of their time up, but just introduce yourself, tell them what you do, and pass the card. It's literally like a 5-second, conversation, and that's turned into a lot of calls in business doing that. So,
But Ray, what if they tell me no?
you could cry yourself to sleep. You could take it out on the dog when you get home. I mean, that's one thing. The thick skin thing. The thick skin doesn't really mean that you don't have feelings or you're numb to anything. It just means that you're a professional. That you understand that you're going to take some criticism. You're going to get people that are just completely rude. But the bottom line is people have bad days. The person that's an a-hole to you that day could be the person that's nice to you the next. So just keep on shooting the ball, just like Jordan did. He missed more shots than almost anybody in the NBA. Nobody talks about that. They call him the greatest of all time. So keep shooting the ball, keep passing that card out, introducing yourself, and let people know what you can do for them.
I agree 100% on that. Keep shooting that ball, no matter what. You get told no, you get knocked down, keep shooting the ball. It isn't, and it goes back to, do I like knocking on doors? Hell no. But is it going to feed my family? Do I like knocking on doors? I'll do whatever I got to do to get it done. If that means I got to go and knock on doors, I'm going to go knock on doors to keep my family fed. And I think that is where the drive really is you got to keep that fire lit underneath of you, and you got to be able to go out there and hit it. It's just like Home Advisor. If you started a pressure washing business, I guarantee you Home Advisor has called you 1,500 times. And why do they keep calling you 1,500 times? And you told them no 1,500 times, because 1,501 time you're going to tell them yes and give them $300 plus all the other money that you're going to give them before you can get back out of it. So you got to keep hitting that thing, hit it hard. How many times Home Advisor called you, Ray?
Quite a bit, and I actually have used them. I actually tried them out because I'm big on you hear things, people say this doesn't work or that doesn't work, but I did try them. And Home Advisor, what I saw from them was a 1 out of 3 close, and it ended up being like $80 per lead, and it was just way more expensive than what I could get off of Google or Facebook or Nextdoor or even like yard signs for that matter. So I don't advise Home Advisor. Home Advisor to me is if something happened to me where I couldn't, like I got sick and I couldn't go out there and market, maybe I would turn Home Advisor on and get a couple jobs that way. But they're going to cost me,
right,
$30 more than what it would if I would to get them from Google or Facebook or something.
So Bernie just said he just came across Ray's video though. He's got some really good content.
Thank you, sir.
What do you think about giving 15 to 20% off just to get work? What do you think about giving discounts? You kind of talked about it a little bit earlier.
Well, I think it just depends on what your price is first. If you're the, doing $150 house washes, you're already given 25 or 30% off in my book. So it's like, it really just depends. Like, are you charging 15 cents a square foot? I'm with you on the pricing now. I used to do the square footage thing, but then I realized I can just look at it now over time and say, well, it's going to take this long. And like I shoot for $1 amount per day more so than per hour. But my goal is do a certain amount each day. So but yeah, I don't like I like to use those discounts for if I feel the job slipping, give them a high price. And then if I feel like I'm going to lose the customer, I'll offer them a discount.
Yep. What's y'all's opinion on the Control Wizard? You don't have that, do you? The remote.
I've got another version of it. Yeah, I've got the bootleg version of it, but I haven't installed it yet.
I never had no luck. Good luck on keeping the valves in them. That's the issue with most of them. I bet most everyone on here says no to telemarketers. Maybe I know there's people sign up with Home Advisor every day because they keep getting it. Ray still sends them a thank you letter. Yes, also that's one of your competitors complaining that you still send thank you letter. We are having the best year so far in 20 years. 2020 will rock. I agree 100%, Davis, in pressure washing painting.
Yes, sir. I love his channel. He's got a good channel. I've watched several of his videos.
Yep. If you haven't checked out Ray or Davison pressure washing, go check his pressure washing videos out too, and subscribe to him. I'm all about
Yeah,
spreading the love about it to everybody. So, like I say, if you got Ray's
down in
channels
Hammond,
down here,
Louisiana.
and go check him out for sure. Home Advisor kept calling me when I started my advertising, and I answered and told them to stop calling me. Ever since then, I've never got one yet. Wow, that's unusual. Usually they will keep right on calling. Thanks for the
They're
great
ruthless.
content. I'm negotiating with Home Advisor. I keep telling them let me join for free and I'll try them out. And they keep telling me no. uh, all right, here's a good one. I love this is one of my favorite ones right here. Do you recommend a 275 gallon tank or two 55 gallon tanks? One water and one SH. Tell me what your theory is right here.
The smaller, the better. I mean, I don't like waiting on the water. It's like the worst thing in the world for me is when I'm sitting there looking crazy and the customer's looking at me like, "What are you doing out there?" So I run a 200-gallon tank on an 8 gallon a minute machine, and I usually run the soft wash system at the same time. So we're running the 5.5 gallon a minute pump, 12 volt, and an 8 gallon a minute pump power washer out of a 200-gallon tank, and we never
Do you
never have to
do you
wait.
fill up before you leave, or do you go around with a full tank, or do you try to empty before you leave?
I usually either ride empty or I'll, ride with maybe like a quarter tank. But if I pull up with a quarter tank and I plug up, we're usually running water the whole time and we're never waiting on water. So I just don't see the point in taking up all that real estate on your truck or trailer with a big giant tank. And also the weight on the transmission seems like a horrible thing too.
Yep, I agree 100%. Bill says discounts cheapen your brand, add value, gets the best customer, and I agree with that 100%, Bill. When you start giving discounts just to try to get work, all you're doing is saying, "Well, I can do it cheaper because I don't believe in myself." And a lot of this, guys, is right up here. It's your mindset. I never forget. I would say, I would never pay that much for that. But you know what? I'm not the customer. You're right. Jason Guyman would never pay $300 for a pressure washing. Jason Guyman would never pay $2,000 for Christmas lights. But guess what? I'm not your customer, Jason Guyman. Jason Guyman is not Jason Guyman's customer. You got to go find your customers, and you can sell to them. And if you find the right customers, you will sell every time to them. They will never say no. The only ones that you are selling, are not the right customers because they're not your customers. Not everybody is going to be your customer, and it don't matter if you discount it or whatnot. And the best line I always heard was, we've done talked about, I'm on fixed income. Well, guess what? Jason Guyman is on a fixed income too. I am on fixed on whatever I make. And if I don't make it, I'm fixed on that. So Jason Guyman is fixed on an income. And you know which ones were the best when they said they were on fixed income? They lived in a freaking $500,000 house and their fixed income was probably 20 grand a month. So get this right here is your mindset. If you can get out of this right here, can screw you really bad if you're not careful. Your mindset, if you have a mindset of, especially if you have kind of a poor mentality mindset, if you didn't grow up wealthy or with a wealthy family, unlike like me, my parents was never wealthy. I don't have nothing to look forward to other than what I've given myself. Ray is in the same boat. If he only made the 8th grade, that's telling me he's in the same boat too. And your mentality has a lot to do with the way you will get business. So that is something that I really try to push. Get out of your mind that Jason Guyman is your customer. Jason Guyman is my customer. No, Jason Guyman is not my customer because there's no way in hell I would pay $2,000 for Christmas lights. There's no way in hell I'd pay $900 for roof cleaning. That's just the way it is. So get out of that poor mentality mindset. you got to start thinking with the mindset of who's my customers, and those are who I'm going after.
Yeah. And like we were talking earlier about like the negotiations, I had a stretch of customers that every single one, it seemed like, wanted to negotiate the price. And, usually it's like one out of every few want to do that. But I had a string of them, and it really did. It mentally beat me down. Like I was real frustrated with it. But something that helps me is just understand, take that real nice deep breath before you go in to actually talk to them about the pricing, and understand it could be a little bit of a boxing match. And every time they jab you with trying to devalue your service and get it for cheaper, hit them with more value of what you can do for them and how your process works, and talk about different things, but always be building the value every time they try to devalue it. Because people will say, oh, well, it won't take you that long. And yeah, this guy, he would do it for this. Well, you're not that guy. You're the quality guy. You're the guy that's going to produce great results, an awesome customer experience. If you're not worth that, if you're not providing all these things, then, you shouldn't charge for them. But if you're giving them grade A quality service, you're on time, you're doing extra, you're throwing in extra things, you're there with a smile, and, that's valuable.
The best one I always like, the last guy did it for $100. And you know what I always tell him? Well, I guess you need to call him. Well, he's out of business. Yep, you're right. He's out of business. $100, $200. Yeah. You're not going to be in business for that.
No way. There's no way. There's no possible way to do that.
Or the other ones that really get me is, you're making more than a doctor does. Yep, you're right. I am making more than a doctor does. If I'm smart about it, I will make more than a doctor, And here's the thing about it, though. In Cincinnati, before I started doing Christmas lights, you only got 9 months out of the year to make 12 months worth of living. So, unless you like eating ramen noodles in January and February, you better make sure that you got enough money still coming in.
Yeah.
When cleaning vinyl fence grass right underneath of it, how should I avoid not killing the grass from spraying? With that, I would just be using a house wash mix. I wouldn't get much stronger than a house wash mix on vinyl fence. Otherwise, you will kill grass, and then they don't have to worry about weed eating around it. But a lot of people won't want that to happen, so make sure you are doing that. Yo, Aim High is here. I have y'all on split screen with the NBA All-Star game. Well, we got to be better than that, right? So what do you put on your signs, Ray? What text should I put on signs?
I've got like 3 different ones. They're right here in the next room if you want me to go grab one and show you. But it's basically just my logo blown up with a little small strip of the services, house washing, driveway cleaning, roof cleaning, and then the number as big as possible underneath that. I tried the little small 12 by 18 signs that just say house washing. Those did pretty well. I tried exterior cleaning. That did all right. And now I'm doing, just the name of my company, which is Clean Home Power Washing, because the keywords kind of say what I do. So I just blew that up with the logo. The logo is like a pressure washing gun. So as long as they can see what you're offering in that number, then you're good.
Yeah, I like big service, big phone number, and that's it. One service, that's kind of my goal. I've really had luck with house washing. Sometimes you can get away with power washing, pressure washing, depending on your location. Because everybody thinks that you're pressure washing your house, so that's another way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, I enjoy both of your channels. Any tips for roof cedar washing? Any tips for washing cedar roofs? Have you done any cedar roofs yet?
No, it's funny you say that, because I got a little bit of anxiety when you were reading Spray Solutions comment there because I thought I was going to do my first one, and it was actually Jerry Richardson, the guy that used to own the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
It was his house. They're selling it, and man, this roof was like extravagant, but it was all that cedar.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I've read up on it, but I've never done it, so I can't really speak on it.
So I've done my share of them. I did one house that was over 10,000 square feet. It was freaking huge. What we do is we actually would spray. I would spray roof mix on it, and then we go back and take a brush, a non-metal brush, and we would clean all the moss off. And then we would apply a product called Cedar Renew, is what it was called. It's they're out of Chicago, and then it would make it look really good. I tried to do hydroxide on it and about fell off of a roof, so I said, screw that anymore. I mean, I slid all the way to the gutter, catching myself on the gutter. Once you put that sodium hydroxide on there, it was slicker than dog snot. When you put that sodium hydroxide on it, it's not as slick, and you can actually walk a lot of those roofs. But you got to be careful on them cedar roofs too, because if one of them cedar shake come out on your feet, you're like on a big sled at that point. You got skis on your feet, so just be careful up on them roofs of them cedars. That can be bad. Does Ray have any Facebook groups? Now, I don't think Ray has. He's in all the groups, but I don't think he actually has his own Facebook group. He's not that. He's not that special yet. He hasn't gotten that big yet. What do you do when you're up prices but no one calls? What do you do when you up your prices but no one calls? Well, first off, you got another issue. You got a marketing issue. You got to get the phone ringing. And it don't matter what your prices are. You got to get the phone ringing. If you can't get the phone ringing, you got other issues. And however you get that phone ringing is it just varies. You know, some people can get phones ringing by just doing Facebook. You know, Rob Anderson, he does probably 80% of his work comes from Facebook. You know, now what does he do? He posts 3-4 times a day on Facebook. He posts all the time. So, you know, it's either, there's two ways of getting customers. Two ways. Either time, and you take the time of boots on the ground, putting, you know, in Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff, or money. And you pick one of the two. You know, you either open your wallet or you take time. One of the two. And when you're first starting out, usually you got all the time in the world. And that's a good time to start to do all that kind of stuff. Now, once you get bigger, then that's when you usually start opening your wallet and you start paying it out. Because it's a lead game, guys. To get to $100,000, you got to know how many leads it takes you to get to $100,000. And then to get to $250,000, well, if it took this many leads to get to $100,000, it's probably going to take twice as many to get to $200,000. So, you know, it's going to take, it's all about getting lead flow. You know, we knew that, you know, and anytime you run an AdWords campaign, it usually takes 3 to 4 clicks to get one job. So we know that. So what did we do? We just added more, you know, put more money to the budget, because that is how I knew how to get the leads coming in. If I can get the leads coming in, then we know we closed 50% of them. So at that point, 50% of getting the leads in is just getting those leads coming in. If you can't get the leads coming in, then it does you no good at all.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get 12.5 SH, only 10. You're in South Georgia. Any thoughts? Just use 10%.
Chemical supply stores.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Pool shock, bunch of 88 people and less than 10 likes, guys. This info is worth real money. Hit the gosh darn button. Help these fellas out. I love Benjamin. Rob Anderson is killing it. Clean Power Wash Maryland. If you want to check him out, he's got a channel. Yep, he does. Jason, did you make a policy and procedure manual? If so, how did you get your employees trained on it? And did you keep it on the trucks? I had made one. It doesn't do a whole lot of good because they don't freaking watch it. But to get them trained, I did a process of, they had to ride the truck so many times with somebody else, and then they had to go out with me, and then that way I would kind of sign them off after that point. And really, it's kind of best for me to step back and let somebody else train them, and then that way when they come to me, I don't, I can say, all right, we need to fix this, this, and this. You may need to go back on the truck, or you can go out on your own, Now, with that being said, this year, I seen a big cluster of, since I didn't own the business, they were sending people out within 1-2 weeks of time, and they didn't have a clue, and they were burning up all kinds of stuff. And so that's what you got to really watch is, making sure that they are watering, and a lot of your guys, they don't want to water. They get there and they're like, I'm not going to water. I don't need to water. And next thing you're doing is you're getting phone calls of, hey, your guys killed this. Hey, your guys killed that. Hey, your guys killed some more stuff. So guess what you got to do? You got to go back out there. And the one thing I really found is that you just got to make sure that you are that you're having that weekly meeting, that when you get the phone call stuff is dead, post that up there to everybody. But don't just post that up there. When you get that 5-star review, post that up there too, because then that shows that, hey, this group is doing really good, this group is doing really bad, these people need to do what these people are doing, and kind of make that thing there. It's regional. I've learned people in my area call anything exterior cleaning, power washing. I've tried house washing, and that's the thing of just trying stuff. I try stuff with ads. I try stuff with that. You got to just try stuff. Nothing wrong with negotiating pricing if your business without a lot of work, being a lot in the field and breaking even is better than sitting at home. There's value in exposure alone. There is. But you can't do it for free forever. Have you ever used Agent Halt, Raymond?
Yeah, I actually got some on the truck right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about using it for like my water tank when I set up the transfer station for transferring bleach, soap, and then I was going to make a big, like I got a 300-gallon water tank, and I'm going to keep that filled with water for flushing out my transfer pump.
Yeah.
And I was going to mix a little bit of Agent Halt in there. That way I could just run it for a little bit and maybe, never have to fill that tank up with water for a long time, and then also neutralize that bleach in the pump.
Gotcha. Benjamin Bakeman, all my, yes, Rob Anderson, John Lang are beasts. Those two and Mr. Jason are the sole reason why we hit 199,000 our first full year. Love them, forever indebted. $100 and almost $200,000. That's what I'm talking about. And actually, Mr. Benjamin, I need you on here. Okay, thank you, struggling, getting my guys to do the right thing every time. And here's the thing, too, that I've learned, too. Your guys, your employees, if they do 70% as good as you are, you're doing good. And if you can get them up to 80, that's like really good. So 80% of, because they're not you and they don't care. So if you can get them up to doing at least 80% of what you do, then you will be in really good shape, and that is really good. How about cleaning headstones and monuments? Have you done much of those? Nope.
No, I have not.
There's actually, they say you're not supposed to use bleach. I've only done a few, and I've always used bleach, but they say that there's something there. All right, guys, so we've been here at an hour. I think I'm going to get out of here. Let Raymond go to bed so he don't stay up all night on with me here. Again, go check out down here in the description of Ray's channel. Go check him out. Go subscribe. That way you will be able to get his information also. Also, if you are going to be at Washathon, I will be there Thursday. I'm getting there Thursday afternoon, I believe. So This Thursday is going to be Washathon. There's going to be some great people, great learning going on. I just finished up my PowerPoint that I'm getting ready to do, and so I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to give some knowledge and really get some guys going in big time. So with that being said, I will be in Atlanta next week, or this week. It'll be Thursday. I'll be there and that kind of stuff. If you need any help doing anything, if you need any questions that you need to ask me, you can go to pressurewashhelp.com/askjason. That's the best place to ask. There's a big long list that I got to get answering. I'm about a week behind right now, so I will answer your questions. It's just time takes me time. I've been working on some really cool landing pages for my Google AdWords. In fact, these are probably going to be better than most websites out there. So if you need Google Ads done, I will set up the Google Ads. I will set up the website so that the AdWords come to. So you do not need a website. With that being said, these landing pages are actually pretty cool, and I've been working on them for about the last 3 days of about 12 hours a day. So I've paid money out and I've made them work. I've paid probably almost $1,000 for these 3 pages. So I paid it, and then I've also put a bunch of work into it myself. So it's super fast. They load within 2 seconds, 1.9 seconds. That's like that. I heard a guy the other day talking about his AdWords on one of the groups, and he's like, why ain't my AdWords working? I went and looked them up, and it was almost 9 seconds. I'm like, well, that's probably why your AdWords aren't going to work, because you are loading forever slow. So with that being said, I hope you all have a good night, and thank you, Ray, for coming on, and I appreciate it very much.
Anytime.